Hello and welcome back to RPGaDAY Games for our final video of RPGaDAY 2024. Just sliding in right at the end here. We got a bit later as things going on. We started off pretty well and we slowly got later, but hey, we've made it to the end of August, rounding out with the final 6 today from 26 through 31. And then that'll be it for another year, crazily. Definitely been some this year which haven't been as applicable to me, and the alternative, unfortunately, I couldn't think of any amazing anecdotes either. But there's still been a lot of interesting things on here, a lot of things to discuss and think about. And there's a few more coming up next that I am looking forward to talking about. Starting with day number 26, Superb Screen. I have quite a lot of screens, and I find that I often don't use them, and that's a habit I need to get into more. I did at got Board Games Expo UK, or just Board Games Expo. I don't know if it's UK or not. I did manage to finally get my hands on a DCC screen. I have quite liked using that. It's got a bunch of the tables on and bits and pieces like that. I did already have a makeshift one myself, but having a proper one is nice. And I definitely use the tables from that. That is a good screen. I use my Call of Cthulhu screen a fair amount, and that's useful for checking the rules for like insanity and sanity loss and things like that. But a lot of the stuff on it doesn't come up very much for me, which is more just I think the style of games I run and the fact that I don't use it quite enough, maybe because I don't get to play in person that much beyond, you know, one shots and some of the things on there. I think it's got like chase stuff, and that doesn't come up quite as much in those kind of games. My one for Pathfinder 2nd edition, though obviously slightly outdated now because it's not a remaster one, has also been very useful for checking little bits and pieces every now and again. But honestly, I think the DCC screen is probably the one that I have had the most use of and had the most enjoyment out of using. And the art on it's just really cool as well. I really quite like the art on the DCC screen. It feels very accurate to DCC, I suppose. 27 is Marvelous Miniature. And I don't really do miniatures. We usually play over VTTs, or we use Theatre of the Mind. I am using maps in my current Pathfinder in-person game, Crimson Blue, but we don't have miniatures for that because those are quite expensive. So realistically for this, it'd probably be some of the miniatures that I've made in Hero Forge that have then become characters, or we've made to align with characters that we've had in games. I'll put some of them up on the screen because I probably couldn't pick a favourite, but I quite like them. Hero Forge is an excellent tool. The models themselves to get are a bit pricey, though I do appreciate you can now buy the STLs, and if you've got a 3D printer or someone with a 3D printer who you know who's happy to do it for you, then you can get them cheaper, which is a cool thing to have. I do appreciate that. But yeah, all of these ones on the screen are marvellous miniatures that I like a lot, because I'm not hugely into the miniature game beyond Warhammer, which is its own problem and not relevant to RPGaDAY quite as much. 29, Awesome App, is an easy answer. Path Builder for Pathfinder 2nd edition, remaster and all that stuff. Free on your phone. You can spend a little money to get a slightly updated version with some extra bits and pieces, but you can use most of the features absolutely free. If it's got ads, there's barely any ads. I don't think it's got ads really. Really easy to use. Connects to your Google Drive or whatever. There is also a desktop app which you can link the two of. That also is a paid for version, but both of these aren't subscriptions. They're one-off payments, so definitely worth it for maybe 5 to 10 quid it costs. Easily laid out, easy to refer to your stuff, easy to add status effects and equipment and all of that kind of stuff. You can integrate it with your GM, so whether you're playing online, use a VTT, but if I'm doing it in person, I can still give people out their physical character sheets if they like to have those and the kind of tactileness of it. But we've also got for the more complicated parts of Pathfinder, because we won't deny that, you know, there's some more complexity there with the numbers. You can have that on your Path Builder app as well, and I can have everyone's initiatives linked on the Path Builder encounters page, which can also have the monsters on from the monster stat blocks. Brilliant thing about all of these resources for Pathfinder being free is that you can do things like this. And yeah, and then you remove hit points, it removes hit points on their thing. Whatever status effects you put on, you can put on them as well. Amazing to keep track of. You can go to the character sheets from the initiative. It's just super awesome. Obviously, I enjoy just using character sheets themselves and books and stuff, but having a system like Path Builder for something where there's a bit more going on, like in Pathfinder, just allows me to focus a bit more on the narratives I'm trying to tell, and that is awesome. Highly recommend if you are playing Pathfinder to give it a look. Don't think it's on iPhone, unfortunately. I think it's only on Android, which is a shame. But who knows? Maybe in the future. I do not know how easy or complicated it is to port something over, or if it's a completely different system, because I don't use Apple. 30. Oh shoot, I already missed one out. I missed day 28 out. I missed Great Gamer Gadget. I like dice towers, I guess. I've got a really cool dice tower that's for Call of Cthulhu. It kind of all connects together. It's like magnetic. Got off of Etsy. I don't think they do them anymore. And it's got like, it's the kind of the deep green. It's got like the Cthulhu kind of head on it, or like a symbol kind of Cthulhu, and it's very cool. I like that a lot. But dice tower's kind of a separate thing to a gadget. I did get a bunch of markers recently for doing area of effect spells and cones and stuff like that. Those are super useful on the occasions that we are playing in-person games and we have, caster, just to easier in your head figure out, okay, who can I actually get in this spell? Those are super useful, and you can get them everywhere. I just again found them on Etsy and got some of those. They're like a nice and acrylic, yeah, very cool. Like them a lot. But yeah, I'm not a huge kind of gadget guy. It's just the main books that I spend a bunch of money on. Less so dice and gadgets and other bits and pieces like that, and miniatures. Even though, if I had the ability to give my players amazing maps and miniatures and all the time, I certainly would spoil them like that. But yeah, I don't have that quite. I don't quite have that amount of money, unfortunately, or fortunately, because that would just cause more work and pressure, I expect, from a certain point of view. So, number 30 is person you'd like to game with. I game with a lot of people already who I like. I don't really know who out there I would like to game with, or it's not really that. I am not necessarily an introverted person. I can go out there and meet new people and talk to new people for hours potentially if there are the topics come up, and so I could certainly do that, I expect, with potentially random people on the internet. And I have run games a couple of times for people I haven't known. One of the time that was a group of scouts, and that was an experience all in itself, and maybe I'll talk about that someday, because oh boy, 5th edition suddenly seems a lot more complicated when you're trying to explain it to 10-year-olds. I think that they had an enjoyable session, but even there it was nerve-wracking running something for completely new people, and I have since run it for some of my brother's friends. I ran some of them through D&D. One of them runs part of a radio show or something, and they wanted to cover the 50th anniversary and they wanted to get some context. So I ran that for them. They had a lot of fun, and I did too, even though it was in 5th edition. We had to make the characters and all in one night, and it was a bit stressful, but we got through it all, and yeah, it was cool. And also the same with Call of Cthulhu. I ran a few sessions for various people who I haven't met before, and that's been alright. But that's also, you know, different to being like, I would love to play a game with such and such a YouTuber or something like that, because that's on a whole nother level. That would be scary, because it's like, well, I feel like I need to perform on a higher level than maybe I have, or maybe I'd get in my head about it. So I couldn't really think about anyone from kind of that perspective. Same with, like, I don't know that any famous people I could really think of. Just friends who are interested, really. If I've got a friend or someone who hasn't played and is interested in trying it, I'm almost always happy to be like, yeah, I'll run something for you. That's partly why I've got so many games going on and screwed myself over a bit in terms of time, because I keep doing that. But I don't regret it, even though I am sometimes a bit burnt out and tired from doing too much. I don't regret getting more people into the hobby, because it's so much fun. No matter whether you're playing D&D or Pathfinder or Call of Cthulhu or whatever, it's a great time. It's a great experience, and it's just a great time to socialize with your friends in a different way. So yeah, a bit of a cop-out non-answer, but hey, it's about as best you're gonna get, I'm afraid, from me. And finally, day 31, game or gamer you miss. I am still very lucky that I have not really lost anyone, touch wood, in my life, especially not anyone who's kind of, most players that I have are my age or younger, like within a couple of years. So I'm very fortunate that I've not lost anyone yet, from that perspective. And most people I still speak to online and stuff. And we still play most games, honestly. I'd like to play some Ubiquity a bit more often, but that might come up again soon. Honestly, I just miss playing in person. I used to be able to play in person a fair bit more. Obviously, COVID happened and that screwed over for everyone. But now again, it's, you know, once a month, maybe twice a month at a push. And that's a shame, because playing games in person is a lot of fun. But logistically, it's just tricky with what people currently do. So that's what I'd say. I miss gaming in person, more so than any game or gamer. And that's our 31 days. RPG a Day 2024 over. There we are, back to our regularly scheduled programming. That's ironic, it's not regularly scheduled, but hopefully Kraken Week, obviously long gone, but Kraken Dungeon video part 2 will be out within September. I've got some other interesting stuff coming out, definitely will have something out this week, so if you like Delicious in Dungeon or Pathfinder, look forward to that, I think. Also ran another Call of Cthulhu game recently, which I might do a little brief review of sorts, not a full-on weekend one-shots, because I've already covered Call of Cthulhu pretty heavily. But yeah, those things all coming in the future. Until then, thank you very much for watching. As always, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Such and such, algorithms, such and such, helps the channel. You know the drill. If you've been doing RPG a Day 2024, hope you've enjoyed it. It's always a lot of fun, and hopefully it'll be even bigger and better next year. I haven't seen it too much around the place, but I haven't been looking too much because I've been very busy just with work, with how things have panned out. But yeah, always a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll have one next year in 2025. We'll see what kind of place we're in then. But until then, thank you very much for listening and for watching, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Goodbye!